Welcome back to Roots of Heaven. This is session number 3, entitled Blade Blooded. Last session, I apologize for the audio issues for the first hour. The video hasn't been loaded to the YouTube yet because I'm trying to figure out a workaround there. But anyways, last session the group continued their combat with the denizens of the island fortress, defeated the Red Dagger's element present on the fort, as well as their pet wyvern. After completing the conquest of the island, they descended into the bowels of it and found that there was a young girl, somewhere in her middle teens, who appears to have been left in kind of a disheveled state in a wooden cage inside of a room with a very strange kind of patterning of salt, chalk, and blood on the ground. At current, Jijo and Elizabeth, Sen and Namalia are in the basement level with Terry, who is going to be more blank-faced this session than usual, and will just kind of remain remain in the back. I have not practiced the accent, so I will not butcher it. And I believe up above, Belroth and Jai. Jai just kind of in his own tunes, kind of humming as he keeps an eye on the door, as Belroth keeps an eye on the portal down where the not so survivable folks have descended down. This is mostly going to be theater of the mind. The map's just there for kind of whatever. But yeah, the girl inside, brown haired, bright green eyes, glowing green eyes almost. And yeah, she looks like she's kind of in tattered garments. Looks like she's been harangued in some fashion, beaten or such. There's blood all over the floor, and salt and chalk circle of such kind of in the room there. Yeah, she doesn't say anything much past that. I didn't think she had said much in the last go of it. But yeah, what would you like to do?
Can Namalia, using her knowledge of religion or the arcane, be able to determine what the heck the circle is all about?
The problem with the circle is its vaguity. I will allow you to choose either Arcana or Religion, your choice. Just know that it's kind of a 50-50 toss-up for in your position. As you kind of look at it, it'll basically be something, if you narrow your focus, might be good or might be bad.
It's bad.
Okay, what did you choose?
Religion, and I got an 8.
Okay. You would know that it is not a religious circle, and also you would note that it's well beyond your ken in Arcana, because as you're inspecting it, you'll note that the circle is perfect, and you would also note that inside of the chalk, and as I mentioned, the salt is kind of ground down in it. The salt looks like it was specifically put into patterns inside of the chalk, so it's almost like there's kind of like a design that's been drizzled out in salt in the chalk.
Hmm. Yeah, I can't make heads or tails out of this. Guess we should check in on Namalia. Will kind of nod at the young girl, not really wanting to approach first.
She's kind of sat down. At first, she kind of like leaned in to kind of see what was coming. She's now kind of sat near the entrance of her cage in kind of like cross-legged position, and she also has her arms kind of crossed over her chest. She's kind of looking out at you as you're kind of moving about. She doesn't seem to be disturbed by the fact that it's pitch black in here, other than some light, I'm presuming, from upstairs.
Does she
Actually,
look dangerous at all?
um, you can tell that she's very physically fit. Um, but she does look like she is a bit battered. There's definitely bruising on her body. But she definitely looks very physically fit. Like she might be some sort of sailor, fighter, um,
Mm.
you know, pugilist. You're not sure.
So Sen has her crossbow, or has their crossbow trained on them just because they don't trust him. Um, has this girl said anything?
She's now just kind of waiting. She did say some things
Okay.
before, but not much.
Okay.
Or
So
no, she
we're
didn't say anything before. You just saw that she has red dagger marks on her inner
right.
wrists.
Yeah. Having seen that, Sen is definitely very suspicious. Not wanting to. Is there enough room that Sen could. We could go right
Yeah.
here without disturbing whatever the salt is, which is also very sus.
You're nimble enough. You'd also notice from just kind of a tactical and kind of strategic posture is that they set up crates and kind of defenses as if they were blocking against that magical circle, like right here-ish.
Yeah.
Namali, as you kind of make your way around the outer side of the ring, you can see that the other cage looks like it's had its kind of walls broken open on the side, and there looks like there was someone inside, but it looks like they've been kind of ripped apart, and their remnants are still inside of the cage. It also looks like there was a lot of instances of streaking from the ring, or from the cages rather, to the ring.
So whatever it was in that cage is dead now.
It's still in the cage and is still dead, yes.
Okay.
Sen would approach the girl in the cage and still crossbow trained, and ask, "Why are you caged?"
Why are you not?
Good question, but you're the one. I'm not the one with the red dagger marks in a red dagger fort.
That's fair, I suppose. What do you want to know of me? Why I'm in a cage? Because they put me in a cage.
That didn't answer my question, but okay.
They were testing me. And the others. She gestures to the other cage.
So you're a fighter?
Aren't we all?
Fair. Did you do that and nods to the other cage?
No.
Did the others?
No.
Interesting.
Whatever it was. It did what it did. It gave me an opportunity to see how it worked.
How you work?
Know how it worked.
Oh, how it worked.
And then when they opened my cage, I didn't hide it. I came out and faced my fears, my problems, head on.
Fair.
What is it?
Something they brought here from somewhere else. I don't know. I'm not knowledgeable of the ways of monsters or beasts. Sorry.
What did it look like?
Obsidian skin. Chain. Whip. Horns. A mark on its forehead. She kind of reaches down and kind of traces some marks on the ground. And you can see that the ground being kind of wet, as she kind of traces her fingers on the wood, it actually creates marks that you can see. And it's 3 marks that are kind of pointed inwards on a circle, with a single mark pointed down. punched it a bit. It punched at me quite a bit. After a minute or so, it was gone.
Are you injured?
I would say so, yes. I'll get over it.
I mean, you can just stay here. We'll walk away.
I'm assuming that you've killed the ones up above.
Yeah.
She kind of stands up, like very just elegantly, kind of with just her feet, arms still crossed, kind of reaches out towards the lock. You see her pull a small kind of sliver of metal from seemingly nowhere, reach into the lock, unlocks it very quickly, and pushes the door open.
Dang it. Knew I should have killed you.
Does Sen say that?
Yeah.
Is she attacking?
She doesn't. She just opens the lock and then immediately kind of crosses her arms again.
Belroth has no idea what's going on, but he likes his girl.
She's sassy.
I've never met her, but she's my friend.
Did you?
She waits for Sen to continue moving away. Does Sen continue moving away, or
Yeah, back up a little.
she kind of walks around the corner outside of the cage to one specific box, looks at it, raises her hand up and just jabs her hand knife blade style right through the wood, smashing the top of it very suddenly. So up above you hear a as wood kind of breaks. She then pulls out what appears to be kind of like a red leather outfit and basically pulls off her clothing without any concern for you two, or you three. Terry kind of goes, "Oh!" and does the very crisp, meek, like, "Oh my!" And she puts on her red leather outfit. You see her kind of like comb her hair a little bit, straightens it out a bit, and kind of like grips her fists and kind of turns and looks at Sen. Are you going to stop me if I try to leave?
Are you still gonna work for the Red Daggers?
I never worked for the Red Daggers.
Why do you have the tattoos on your wrist?
Not very familiar with them, are you? Most people who work for the Red Daggers don't do so willingly.
So you're saying that you were enslaved by them?
It's a very harsh way of putting it, or not harsh enough, I suppose.
I mean, they did kill your friend over there.
I didn't know that person.
I mean, that's fair. Didn't know him either.
I was afraid for a moment because they folded like a cheap suit against the creature. She says as she's continuing to, like, you know, make everything, make sure everything's like nice and fit. She says, but whatever it was more bark than bite. Especially against a blade-blooded.
Belroth is just gonna shout down like, "Oi! You good?"
Are we
Yeah,
good?
we might have a prisoner though.
Prisoner? We might have problems.
Well, do you want to do this the nice way or the hard way?
I'm outnumbered. And obviously you're competent enough combatants to fight an entire grouping of Red Daggers. Unless you have more help than just the person who was yelled down.
Maybe we do, maybe we don't.
I'm assuming by the looks of you, you're from the city. Well, maybe not her. Looks to Namalia. You might have picked her up along the way.
She's been in the city for long enough.
She looks like she's a bit more coastal. I don't mean it as an insult. Apologies. She gestures.
Amalia is just like,
This was actually... She kind of looks over to you. She says, "You don't want to be from Nock. Nock is filth. You look like you're cultured."
okay, I'll take it.
She looks like a brigand. They look like a brigand, and points over to Terry, and he looks like a conman.
I mean, you're not wrong there. And what is a brigand?
A thief, a robber.
I mean, also not wrong.
You look like some sort of merfolk queen. So what you're doing with these two is beyond me. And your subtle but noted suggestion of help won't go unnoticed if this does turn to blows. She looks
Well,
back
if
to
you
Sen.
denounce the Red Daggers, we could get you a job.
You said prisoner, so we need to
I
make
said
sure that-
prisoner because I don't trust you.
we need to make sure that the terms of this equation are sorted before we continue any forward. Are you going to try and lock me up? Because if so, I'm tired of being held against my will, and now that I'm back
If
to
you're
my
gonna
full
run, we
strength,
will.
she doesn't look like she's ready to run. It looks like she's ready to do quite the opposite. If flight is an option, and the other one being fight, looks like she's kind of flexing her muscles and gripping her fists.
Look, we've seen a lot of blood today. I've killed a lot of your previous coworkers, and it's not gonna go well if this conflict escalates.
You're right.
So we were tasked to cleanse this island of red daggers. As far as I can tell, you're a red dagger. You can choose to come along with us willingly if you don't fight. I'm sure that there's plenty of information that you can share with our employer that might be important, relevant, and helpful. I don't think at this point you get to just walk away, hon.
No, see, there's the rub. I'm assuming you were sent by Mardigans.
Maybe.
Nemalia tries to keep a poker face.
Sen does not have a poker face.
Neither does Nemalia.
Terry is still thinking she's naked.
Is it done? Is it done?
She says, if so, then you can assume that I would not be willing to meet with your employer. I understand you have a job to do, hired and all by, she looks to send brigands, looks over to Terry, con men, and cutthroats. She looks at you with the last word. If you want to continue the bloodshed, she then kind of like scratches her chin and kind of drops into a fighting pose. We can. But I guarantee you at least 2 of you will die here.
Can I hear any of this?
Yeah, I'd assume so.
Alright.
And we've made it clear that Balroth can't come down because he won't fit, or he
He
could come
can
down.
fit. It'll be a squeeze issue.
Okay.
Alright. Like, he's now, like, on the ground and sticking his head through the hole to try and figure out what the hell is going on. Just, like, get a lay of the land. If he has to, he will head dive through that hole.
Okay. So you start making kind of a ruckus coming down. What's the
Yeah.
stance of Sen?
Still holding the crossbow, kind of perched on this box, or maybe like right
Wait.
behind the boxes.
Okay.
Real quick, how far down is it?
About 15 feet.
Okay. So, can he cast his echo and then trade places with it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. That's what he's doing at this point.
Okay. And then the echo will be,
Up at the top.
yeah, hold on. That was under spell templates, special Belroth's Echo, and just small still. Okay, cute, kawaii. Okay, perfect. Do you have sight on the echo or no? Okay, if
I'm
not,
not sure.
you should now.
Okay.
Okay. I guess, like I said, she is currently in a kind of martial posture with just her fists. And she's made a very clear threat. Zizo, you can make a religion check if you'd like. Also, you have advantage for this one.
All right. 16.
If what she says she fought is exactly as she described it, she fought a horned devil and is still alive. By herself. Without any armor or magic items.
Do I know how powerful a horned devil is?
With that religion check, you would. And if you
Okay.
want to go ahead and search a horned devil, look at its challenge rating, you may. She fought it for at least 1 minute and did not die horribly. Like the thing in the other cage.
Yep, Belroth likes this girl. Also, may fight her.
I think it might come to that, we'll see.
Oh my heck. Yeah. Yeah.
So anyways, she's not looking at you specifically, Sen. You do not have her attention. She is mainly looking at Namalia, who she seems to have dictated as the leader of the group. Based on
That's
the
fair.
conversation going as it's gone.
So I feel like our group just like shares one brain cell amongst all of us.
And you're the one who has
It's
it.
your turn
And
today.
it's Amalia's turn.
And since I don't have a token for her as of yet, she's actually moved into the circle, by the way.
Oh, I don't like that.
Mm-mm.
I told you we do not want any more bloodshed.
You're right.
Wha-
We discussed what you don't want. Now, in any deal, transactionally, we would discuss what I don't want. And I do not want to be taken back to your employers or become a prisoner. Now, if we can agree on these two tacit, easily discussable tenets of the deal, then I will not have to break, looks over to Sen, their face, and then looks over to Terry, and rip his spinal column out of his back. And she looks like she is just, still holding that posture. Oh,
Oh,
a new
where
friend.
would you go?
I don't know. 2, I think, is the most I can do. That one might be a bit of trouble. Looks to Belroth.
He's just like, yep.
That's why they hired me.
Just tips his sword at her, just like, yeah, that's me there.
Okay. Fine. Look. Maybe you don't have to come with us to the Mardigans. Maybe there's information that you can share with us.
Absolutely. I'm more than willing to help you in
Okay.
your endeavors.
Look, we don't want and like Namalia will like make eyes at Sen. We don't want to make you our prisoner. But
Rolls their eyes.
we don't want to make you a prisoner. Let's take a beat, share some information. Maybe you can go on your merry way. Maybe even take a change of clothes, because if our employer sees someone in red running around like this,
They won't regard this as what you suppose it is. I was something before I was what I am here. The original people who were running the show here were probably a bit better off than Belgor was. Did you get him at least?
Which one was that?
The
Yeah.
cocky asshole with the 2 knives?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I
Okay,
want his
great.
knife still.
Great, thank you. You killed him. Did he die horrifically?
He's floating over the ocean right now. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure he's about to fall in.
But he's dead, right?
He will be, yes.
You hear a voice from Terry go, "No, I shot him! I shot him in the face! I shot him like 5 times as he was
Oh,
floating
that's
off
right.
the
You
ice.
did shoot him in the
This
face.
is a horrible
yeah.
accent that I'm doing.
It sounds about right to me.
Yeah,
it
sure.
works.
No.
Yeah, sure.
Yorty, dorty,
No.
dor.
Now he's Swedish.
Be summer blowout.
I'm bad at accents on command. I need time to prepare, dang it. She says, "Well, great. You're already folk of class." He was a real shitface, but before he was the master here, the 3 who reigned over this island fort were much more sadistic and much more skilled. I can tell you their names and why they affiliated themselves with such a lowly group.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good info.
Absolutely. The first was an individual named Melissa Montoulet of House Montoulet in the city of Enoch. She was the one who afforded them the items and resources they required to maintain this island fort. Montoulet had said that the Red Daggers would serve as a type of militia force that would help guard the waters from sea invasions. Reports from a month ago say there were large, horrible attacks on the merfolk, the coastal regions south of the city. So, of course, the Council of 10 thought that would be a great idea. The other member of this triad was an individual who called himself Ekstrom. Ekstrom was a dragonborn. I don't know much beyond the fact that he was very well-to-do. I might be able to recognize him on sight, but he was always wearing a golden mask over his face. Very strange mask, as his scales appeared to be of a blackish color. And I know dragonborn are usually different scaled colors, some metallic, some chromatic. But his mask was like a gold dragon. I've seen them before, gold dragons.
Belroth just kind of scratches his horns a little bit. It's like,
Wait, like real gold dragons?
Correct. The
Those are
last
scary.
of these individuals was my former master. An individual named Ida Ichiro, from the lands of the Blue Dragon to the south. You see, I served as one of the guardians of the blades of the Shinayora Kengo. I was given to these daggers to shape them up, but it seemed that Ekstrom and Belgor had different ideas for what to do with me and others who came along from different places outside of their organization. They branded us, and then Ekstrom tested us against his magics. Conjurer of sorts. That's what he used this circle for. Bringing forward creatures I would not like to see again. But in the end I was able to survive where others were not. Mainly because I was trained in the way of the open hand and the arts of Shi Lubai.
So will you go back to
No,
no?
I feel like I was betrayed in a sense. Gifted away. Treated as nothing more than an object. It's not exactly something anyone wants to have done to them, I presume.
Understood.
And so I would like to make something of myself beyond what I've known so far in my life. I think I have plenty of skills that will help me in whatever endeavor I see. But perhaps a bit of vengeance before all of that.
Against the Red Daggers?
There are none left if you've killed them all here.
That was it?
Ekstrom was not exactly a red dagger,
Are you gonna get revenge against him, though?
if I can find him. Only one
Fair.
of those three I know where they're located for certain. Lady Montoulet.
That's a
Do-
start.
It is a start.
Look, it sounds like between Montulane and Ekstrom, they really couldn't be up to any good. And it might actually be helpful or useful to our employer to go after them.
I don't doubt that you have some misconceptions regarding your employer, but I guarantee you, trusting the family is probably not wise, nor was my sense of trusting the Blades.
Well, I don't
Fair
really
enough.
trust anyone, so
I would rather just meet face to face with those that I consider the ones who have wronged me, let out my vengeance and be done with it. Perhaps take what I can from their dead bodies or broken homes, sell it as I can, and maybe make a life for myself after that. If you are offering me some sort of help, I don't think I want the entanglements that I feel like you already have.
fair enough. Well, how about this? We let you go. No prisoner, none of this. You leave us alone, you don't get into trouble, and we'll call it square.
Looks over to Namalia. Your associate has made a suggestion, which I'm not terribly against, but as it seems you have been the one who's done most of the talking.
We in this group function under egalitarianism.
So you're not actually a part of the family.
Belroth looks slightly confused when you use that big word.
Look, I'm pretty sure that you can tell that we're contracted. I think calling us a part of the family would be a bit of an overstatement.
So the loyalties I detected were not accurate then. You were not... Well, at least you weren't. Looks over to Sen. Were you willing to try and take me by force back to the family? Or kill me based on their edict to do so?
I mean, kill you, sure, but I'd rather do the easy thing.
She looks at your crossbow and then she looks at you. You'd have a hard time doing it with that.
Namalia will kind of interject. I don't think that any of our actions here today are out of loyalty to the family.
Just a
We
contract.
were hired to do a job, and we are beholden to that lawful contract.
Is your end just the coin then? Or do you have something deeper to do besides?
I mean,
Namalia
she's
doesn't want to
not
spill
wrong,
beers.
Finn.
Namalia
Kind
does.
of kicks
y- yeah,
the
I mean,
ground.
obviously, like Sen and Balroth and Terry, you know, they're in it for the coin, probably mostly, right? But
That money.
you know, Namalia has ulterior motives, but I don't know that she would want to share that right
She
now.
starts walking out of the circle, moving between the barricades, kind of walking up towards Sen, and then kind of moving past Sen towards Belroth. As she does so, you can see that she's kind of moving very just. Her muscles are taut. She basically looks like she's a spring ready to just be, unleashed. And as she's walking, she kind of says over her shoulder, "Let's continue this conversation outside. I haven't breathed fresh air for a while now."
There it is, a little stuffy down here.
Looks up,
Amongst like the gore.
looks up to Belroth, because he's standing in the way, absolutely in the way.
So he will switch positions with his Echo, and the Echo will stand aside.
Okay. She will go up and out. You'll note that she takes the passageway on the right. She looks into once you kind of get out there, and I'll just theater of the mind it. That big room where all the powder kegs were, with the door. There were two passageways. One passageway led off to like the eastern side of the island. She takes that passageway. As you follow her, I presume you would see that there are 5 rowboats in there that look like they've been kind of put in there lazily. And she kind of steps out, and immediately stepping out of the passageway, she's literally stepping right out onto the shore. You see her kind of like step out into the water a bit, like tip her head back and kind of breathe out. And you said, what were you saying, Sten?
Convenient, because we lost ours.
Right.
We lost our rowboat.
The Durgan ate it.
That's stupid, Waverin.
Oh. Interesting. Yeah, that was an annoying factor in the fight as well. I assume.
Did you have to fight that too?
No. I only saw it a couple of times.
Belroth would just pipe up and be like, "Do you know who captured it?"
No, it was Belgor. He actually raised it from infancy, but
Ooh.
it was. I guess it was a trait of his attempt to break others to try and make them more receptive to commands. Didn't really work for me. My first decade of life was spent on Durlash and a massive amount of discipline. She shakes her head, kind of looks back to you. Okay. Well, if you have any other questions for me, or any other options.
Why didn't you escape?
There were quite a few folks here, and Ekstrom was at beck and call. I know that I could have dealt with most of them. I don't know if I could have dealt with all of them, especially in my state of being. And if Ekstrom had shown up, it would have been a very short fight for me.
Fair enough.
I mean, he was pretty agile.
Oh, no, I would have dealt with Belgor, no problem. No, Ekstrom the mage, the Dragonborn. Yes, he was very capable, it seemed, of spellcraft, and I wouldn't have known what I was getting into in that fight. It would have been a...
Damn wizards.
I
hate magic.
we started off in a very tense place, but it seems like we see eye to eye in a lot of things. The only thing that I have concern for you is if you're just chasing coin, what's the point?
Look, I didn't grow up with much.
I didn't grow up with anything.
Fair.
The balance of nature rights itself in mysterious ways sometimes, and works through mysterious means.
We have very similar tenets in the Huli-Ruxui, the eight-spoked wheel. Understanding that a perfect balance, the way of the prophet, in the center of the wheel, being the most important overall. Yes, I completely understand the concept. Balance. But I don't think balance should be an excuse for a lack of concern. If you have something that you feel you should be doing, maybe you should do it. Looks to the boat, walks over to it, grabs it, starts dragging it by herself. Looks like it's, weighs a lot less than you probably know it does in her grasp. And she kind of moves it out to the water and kind of sets it against the sand. It was a pleasure. Unless you have any last questions. Again, I did promise you information. I feel like I've granted you quite a bit.
What's your name?
Always a good question to start with. She kind of smiles. What's yours?
Elroth.
And you? Looks to Namalia.
They call me the Tide Watcher.
Fancy.
You do?
Wait, does Valor go? I thought we called you Namalia.
Wait, have I gotten your name wrong this whole time?
Namalia will still be like, the Tide Watcher. Or like everyone behind her is like, what? Excuse me? Who?
Cape fluttering in the wind.
Oh my god.
No,
You get
Sin's
fucking
actually
going.
just like so fancy, kind of like
Asks Terry, asks Jai, and then looks at Zen. And you?
then.
Well, they call me Anusha, the Blade-Blooded. The reason why they call me that, she kind of places her hands out, and you watch as like her palms start to kind of glow a bit, and you watch as two daggers kind of appear in her hands that are made out of like just force,
It's cool.
and then she kind of snaps those back into her wrists.
Can you teach me that?
No. Because I'm leaving. I've got people to kill. And I assume you have coin to collect.
Yeah.
And well,
You kill.
yeah.
Can you help? Then you could teach me that.
Again, if you have a goal in mind that isn't return back to the family and gain coin, I'd be willing to hear it. But I have pressing matters I must attend to, and based on what you've told me,
Where might we find you?
it's going to be a tall order. I don't think that's something that you'll be granted the opportunity to do so unless fate falls for you. Sorry.
Never know. Well, if we do run into you again, teach me the thing.
I will not teach you the thing. Teach me that damn thing!
Did we?
It's so cool!
Did,
They're gonna be
we,
thinking about that forever.
Did we ask anything like if she was aware of any motive behind what?
You can ask, yeah.
Yeah.
She'll
Like-
say, I don't know why Ichiro gave me up. I can't say for sure. Other than I was raised in his care. I was taught by his house attendants. I was told that my family was to serve the Kengo. And that was my duty. And our family believes a lot in the importance of honor and duty. Unfortunately, I don't believe that people are things to be traded, given away. especially when the person was not asked if that's what they wanted. When I was gifted to the red daggers, branded against my will, and held, made to fight horrors summoned up by Ekstrom, well, I kind of came to the decision not that long ago that I would make my way about getting away from it all. But island, wyvern, a lot of things to take into account. I started sailing off in a rowboat in the middle of the night. I don't see too well in the middle of the night. Wyverns do. They've got a lot of bows. They've got cannons. There were a lot of factors to take into mind.
So the red daggers, like, what was their purpose here?
They were brought here, I assume, by probably by Ekstrom, possibly by Lady Montoulet. I know not. I'm assuming it was Lady Montoulet who brought them to this place, and she might have had some sort of deed or claimancy over it. I'll know soon enough. She looks to Sen. You have no loyalties to the Mardigans. Or do you?
Not really.
Looks to Nemalia. And you can see that an imbalance has been made here by these who would traffic in persons.
Yeah, Belroth is on the same page with that, and he's very much a balanced person as well, so he's like already in his head trying to like figure out how he can flip it on them.
Okay. Fine. I assume you didn't row out here entirely. You probably have a larger boat out some way or the other.
Yeah, you might want to avoid them.
Why?
I mean, you don't want to probably get caught or seen, do you?
Depends. Are they Mardigans?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a problem, I suppose. Well then.
I mean, you can stay here for a little bit longer, let us go, sail off, and then you can leave.
She says, "No, I think I think I have an idea of it. Something different. I need to meet with Lady Montoulet, speak with her, gain more knowledge about Ekstrom. He's the one I genuinely wish to meet with. Find out what he is doing. So, slight addendum. She looks to Sen and says, "You're familiar with the city of Nock, I assume more so than these others?"
You could say that.
You look like the city type, but I don't mean to be rude. It just, you look like you know your way around the streets.
I mean, I've lived there for a bit, so...
Fair. I would say that if you're familiar with the Steel District, there's a tavern in those parts known as the Crystallis.
Okay.
That's where I'll be. I might be there before you get there. I might be there after. But if you're interested in helping me find out more about what I'm seeking, that's where I'll be.
Talk about it.
Of course. She moves over to her boat, hops in. I'll take the long way of it. I still might beat you back.
Belroth gives her a push.
She'll accept. ahead.
Nemalia will throw her like a little tiny flat jar of like her balm. She'll be like,
Stinky fish
Don't-
balm.
don't forget to take care of your skin, and like throw it. And when she opens it, it just smells like wet shrimp.
Oh, God.
Are you trying to start a business?
She will.
Maybe I am.
She will accept the bomb and make an insight check.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh, 24.
You're-
Oh no.
So you can definitely recognize the disgust when she smells the bomb. It's not a hard factor to take into account. And you see her kind of like try and hide that, like try and push that down. And she kind of puts on the face. And then
At
you see
least
her
she's
put the
polite.
bottle aside, and she's like smiling, she's like, and then as she starts rolling off, you can see her face like,
Uh,
Discreetly drop it into the ocean.
Your presumption is that she's keen
Yeah.
enough to not do it in eyesight.
wow.
Oh,
Well,
God.
At least she's
Nemalia
trying.
is grateful that she had the the
Opportunity.
grace to not be a jerk about it.
Or rude in any way.
Yeah, exactly.
Except for the mentioning of ripping Terry's spine out. That was always a great one. But yeah, moving back to the larger map of the world and kind of getting an idea of what's to do next. My presumption is that you will rowboat back out to the Ashmodeus Tiers and head back to Nock via
Yep.
Thalivar's Beacon. Okay. That's basically just going to be kind of sleepy time, slow move. But would you kindly pick a representative for your group and roll 1d20? Because there's an opportunity for random encounters here.
I gotta go AFK for just a second.
Okay.
Alright, I'll do it.
Yeah. Do it.
Okay. So you managed to make it back to Thulliver's Beacon without any kind of problems about on the sea. And I think that... Oh, man. Hold on a second here. Sure enough. Oh man, new OBS is weird. Okay, that works. So you make it back to Thulliver's Beacon. The captain basically says, "Great job. I will report your success to the Mardigan family. You, of course, can do so yourself if you'd like to. Not a problem. You were great, wonderful, and I'm glad that everything was handled greatly. We sent some of our scouts that were on board to make sure that the job was done as you stated, and we see no issues with that. The only questions that we had were, of course, what was the purpose of the strange circle in the basement? How much information do you divulge regarding that?"
Probably just if it was Sin saying it, they would kind of give like a general, just like Caster was conjuring some beasts and making people fight them to test them.
Sub question: the caster, you defeated them, of course, yes.
And he wasn't there.
So we have a target we need to mention to the Mardigans, okay? And second question, the only other question that I had, no survivors, no one escaped, correct?
Correct.
Make a deception check.
Belroth is just keeping,
21.
like,
So, Sen, your mind was kind of what Elizabeth did, the correct.
Correct.
But Sen is a very competent flyer.
They want to.
To some degree, so they kind of put on the face of a person who's not lying, while their actual, facial tics are happening, just concealed by lying face. But yeah, No issues. The captain says he will report it. If you'd like to report it to the Mardigans, you are, of course, welcome to. You remember where you can meet with them, or at least contact them. There's a dead drop at the Red Dragon. There are also kind of locations throughout the city that you'd be aware of that you can kind of connect with the Mardigan family, specifically in the Steel District.
Hmm.
Okay. But yeah, you very easily are able to make your way back to the city of Nock. Now, we haven't actually had much playtime in the city, but this is also an opportunity for downtime activities or any kind of lead generation that you want to engage in. The city is kind of open to you. There are general kind of ideas of what happens in a city, especially in a D&D city, that you may already have that you might want to pursue, such as like guilds, and the like. Other operations like marketplaces that you might want to investigate. If you have anything that you want to sell or buy, taverns, different house locations. A lot of the city is kind of outlined loosely in the handout, of course. But if you haven't gone over that, I can obviously make suggestions as well. But if you have something in mind that you want to do in the city, I absolutely want you to have the freedom to do that at your pleasure. I will say that since Jai and Terry, their players, are not currently available, Terry will state that he is going to the marketplace, specifically the market of the Magic District.
What he's gonna do there?
And he's going to do some money making. He says if you need to get in contact with him, that's where you'll find him, and that's where he'll be. And Jai says that he is going to kind of follow up on the Red Dragon. If nobody else wants to go to the Red Dragon, that's fine. But he says that he'll go, and he's got some desires to oust the person who was trying to do music there before and kind of make a better show of it himself.
I mean, he'd be better.
Absolutely. But yeah, you'd be entering in kind of through the Greenway, which is the waterway kind of in the northern portion there. Wow, there's two Belros.
Aha!
Anyways, if there's any ideas for what you want to do in the city, feel free to ring them out. And again, if you don't have anything in mind, I will make suggestions. I'm shutting up now as you kind of state what you want to do. But another thing I want to mention here too is feel free to make shit up too. A lot of the city is mapped out, but a lot more of the city is not. So again, freedom to do what you like. And also the I know a guy rules obviously in play as well, so keep that in mind. Improvisation is king. Oh, also assume that you would have been paid out already for the job.
Oh, great.
And I told you what the payout was already.
I forgot.
Yeah.
So the total for the group, if you had succeeded in everything, would have been a total of 1,500 per person.
Did we succeed?
Yeah, and all of the things.
Yay, go us.
1,500 gold per person?
Correct.
Nice.
We loaded now. Do we just want to split that? Right?
Per person, 1,500 per person.
Yeah, so just
1,500 each
Yeah,
person got that.
not-
So Jai
not party purse.
Yeah, that's each person individual got
Yeah,
1,500.
no. I'm saying, do we want each person to have their 1,500 and not do a party purse?
Oh, the thief! I got it.
I'm saying that it's a better.
Sorry.
Ben is trying to be honest
Um,
and say that it might be better that everyone takes their own share. Because otherwise they'll just go home to Daddy and... Daddy, let's move!
We can go anywhere.
Again!
Let's go to the capital. But no, everyone gets their own. That'd be fine. Nice try. Sorry, I'm sorry to stop your scam. Sorry.
Well, don't call it a scam.
I'm sorry, I'm so sorry.
I was giving everyone the option.
Fair.
Okay. I mean, Belroth is gonna want to get his sword repaired
Okay.
and possibly upgraded.
Okay. Since you're having someone do it professionally, the downtime activity won't actually be repaired. It's not you repairing it.
Okay.
So you can have that done and
I
being
mean,
done.
I can repair my own sword.
Yeah, if you're trained in smithing tools.
Am I? I don't know.
Probably not then.
And you have access to smithing tools.
Yeah, I don't know. So yeah,
And
he
I'm
would
gonna
have
go
to pay someone.
I'm going to go ahead and post the link to the House Rules forum post so you have that on hand. I'm assuming Jijo keeps looking at something. I'm assuming they're looking at the rules right now. Maybe, yes, no.
Yeah. Now I am.
There. It looks like you're... It's fine.
Well, I was looking at the map.
Oh, fair. Yeah, a lot of it's unmarked. A lot of it will become marked as you kind of open stuff up. I will state, though, that... I will post now the text markers for a couple of things. Oh, wow! Hold on a second. That's amazing.
Oh no.
What am I missing?
Actually amazing.
They made new text options for script in Roll20.
Oh, cool.
Ooh.
Before there were 3 options. You had Arial, like Candle, and Contrail, and Patrican. Or no, I don't remember what they were.
Ooh,
There's
that's so fancy. Look at that.
There's like a dozen more. That I don't like that one. Hold on. That's pretty good. That looks like a westerny kind of deal. I don't know. Aw, man, still they don't have that though. That's unfortunate. I was hoping that they might have an option for me to do highlights.
Oh, that would be nice.
Because the text as it stands is kind of hard to read on the background.
Yeah, or at least like have like a edge around it.
Yeah, the highlighting
Mm.
or bordering.
Highlighting and edges are different things.
I don't care anymore.
Fine.
If I craft potions of healing,
Mhm.
could I sell them at cost to the party?
To the party, yes. To anyone else, no. Because if you want to
Okay.
sell anything in the city, you have to have a license to do so. So it's one more step. The other thing that you will need is the recipe to make potions of healing. Are you trained in alchemist tools?
I have herbalism kit.
Then you would have the potion of healing recipe, and I'll get that here for you in a second.
Nice.
That is a freebie. What other tools are you in? Do you have?
That's all I got.
Okay, so then that's the only one. Save. And bear with me. My stuff is being the slow. Potion of healing. Edit. Alright. Herbalism kit. Yeah, that's... I don't know why it says healer's kit. That's not a thing that you can be proficient with. Okay. I will fix that now.
Okay. So if I make 6 at a time, that would be 150 gold.
Yeah. And so
for
just...
one day.
just so we're all aware, we're currently entering into a downtime segment. So you can decide as a group how many days you want to take as downtime. There's no limit, there's no necessity. I will explain something to you. Every single beat in my mind, an event in the game, has already been set on a daytime schedule. So we are currently 1 day that's passed. It took you most of the day to get there and then the rest of the day to get back. So we're assuming that you've slept and are waking up the next day. So understanding that, as the days continue to expound, events will happen around you and opportunities that would have been available will no longer be available. So keep that in mind. Like if you spend 40 days like downtiming here, she's going to have murdered the Lady Montoulet and done all of the things by herself, or died in the process, or something. I mean, again, there are things that could be happening behind the scenes. So just keep that in mind.
Okay.
Having a hard time.
So I feel like first priority for Balroth is to get his gear situated.
Okay.
I mean, because without it, he's dead, type of thing.
If you're just upgrading your weapon from fine to normal quality, that's just going to take 1 day for the repairers to do it,
Okay.
and it'll cost you 100 gold.
Okay. Perfect.
Your greatsword, correct?
Longsword.
Longsword, sorry.
Yeah.
Let me double check my math on that. It will take you 30 gold.
Pretty. I like that number better.
Yep. You could buy a perfectly brand new longsword for 15. Just as a note.
But mine is a +1.
Then yes, you can repair it for 30.
Okay. After that, he'd probably try and touch base with some of his mercenary contacts,
Okay.
just to kind of feel out the two, like Lady Montelier or whatever her name is, and then he literally just calls him the creepy wizard man in his head.
Okay.
So, that guy.
So, again, the downtime activities are not mandatory. They're not necessities. So you're not going to, do anything for the second kind of day of downtime, or during that 1 day of downtime where you're having someone else repair for you. You're just going to go find your contacts and have a conversation with them. Okay?
Yeah.
We'll cover that in a bit. And then Jijo, on the first day, you're just going to be making potions.
Yeah, can I reskin them to be...
Yeah, they can be flavorfully different, but they cannot be functionally different.
Yeah. So
Don't make them taste like seawater.
so I'll do you one better. Like normally, I guess like the herbalist would be out on the, out in the grass or the woods, like picking little mushrooms or little herbs. She's just like scraping lichen off of the sides of the buildings, like scraping it into like a basket, and that's like the basis of the
Perfect.
The balm, and like all of her other little like cosmetics, it's like a smelly balm that you have to apply.
And you're doing this because the Green District is kind of the place where you'd find most kind of growths of that fashion. I would assume you'd be doing that in the Green District upon first entering?
Sure.
Roll a d100.
Ooh. Let's roll a d100.
So a woman kind of sees you doing that and kind of walks over to you, and she says, "Interesting. Hello. Hi. I'm sorry. If you're busy, I'll not bother you."
No, I can talk and scrape at the same time.
You see behind this woman, there's a young girl with her. And she's an elf, the woman, and the child is a half-elf. The woman kind of looks at you and says, "You're disrupting a bit of the balance here, but I think I understand why. You are probably preparing some sort of poultice or something to that regard?
Yes.
And you're not from here, are you?"
How could you tell?
Well, most people who are from the city understand the nature of House Gravesend, their requirements regarding cultivating. Um, the material that you're gathering, it's absolutely free for everyone to take. Uh, you've done nothing wrong, but typically they will make notice to the conservators regarding the acquisition, so that new lichen or new moss in this case might be made to grow in that area.
So, let me see. Does Druidcraft expire?
So if you utilize Druidcraft, you'll note that she kind of nods her head in approval, and she then says in Druidic to you, she says, "Interesting, very interesting. Where do you come from?"
I come from the coral community.
Ah, very good. So, we are absolutely in dire need of cultivators and individuals such as yourself. Are you planning on staying in the city for very long?
It depends on what my traveling companions have in mind.
Oh.
If I do decide to stay in the city, is there? Do you need help with the cultivation?
She gestures to the buildings and then kind of gestures up. And you kind of have this moment where you go, like, because you see that there are druidic marks in the wood of the upper structures, and you actually start to realize that the upper structures aren't buildings, they're growths. They appear to be very massive mushrooms that have been grown up on the tops of these stone foundations. And she says, "You should be able to follow the markings to the great tree of Gravesend. And I'm certain that the sentinels there will be more than accepting of new talent, and new individuals, and potentially new circles." She says, "I am of the One Wood. And you are of..." She's asking what your subclass is.
Yeah. So, I guess Nemalia is used to people being kind of creeped out or grossed out. So she'll kind of be kind of shy about it and be like, I serve the circle of the spore.
Interesting. We have a number of spore circle adherents who are associated with Gravesend. Most of them deal with the aftermaths of things, specifically the decay. I'm assuming that there's some adherence to Aluane and her final order, or are you not religious? Some druids are, some aren't.
I'm not affiliated.
She nods. Okay. Well, again, I know that people of skill would be most welcome in Gravesend. We have a lot of different efforts that we are engaged in, and mainly it's due to the fact that we try to maintain a balance here in the city, and we are but one part of 10 that keep a working order within the city. She bows her head in respect, looks to her daughter, who looks like she's bored out of her fucking mind, right? She says, "I am Laura Varys." I'm trying to find her last name. Hold on. Bear with me. I am Laura Varys. And my last name is... Why is this so hard?
Laura Varys.
Yeah, that's it. That's the one. Oh my god. Oh my god. Sorry. Thank you for being patient. It's kind of important, but only just. Too far back. I hate my notes. I need a new method of order. Again, thank you for being patient. Trying to find it. Oh my god, why? I'll get back to you on the last name. But yeah, Laura Barris. And she nods her head and says, I must be on my way back to my house just outside the city. Enjoy the rest of your time here. And she then pulls out a wooden nickel and hands it to you. And says, if you are assailed by any other individual such as myself, just show them this and they should be fine.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. She heads away. The symbol on it appears to be a... bear with me here. It appears to be a kind of Atavian cross, but it looks like it's kind of designed to kind of be in the ground, like a grave marker.
Okay. So Nemalia would finish up her her harvesting. Would report her harvest to the conservators. Is that?
Yeah. Yeah, if you go up to follow the druidic marks, it'll lead you to a house that is just a massive tree, but it looks like it's been cultivated in such a way that its trunk and kind of branches kind of formulate the floors of a house, and actually the steps and everything. It doesn't look like anything was cut or worked here. It looks like it was all grown to shape. And when you enter in, you're kind of led to a conservator who, I believe the conservator for this specific kind of area, like I would assume you're doing it near the tavern that you would have came in and, you kind of came in, went right to work. This conservator is a very tall, blue-skinned individual. You would recognize them as a Vedalken, which is kind of a strange kind of extraterrestrial race that has existed in the world for some time. They're also kind of semi-aquatic. This is probably one of the only examples of a Vedalken you've seen outside of ones that pass through the Mer territories, because they are also well-known traders. And he takes your information and explains to you, we are indeed in search of individuals who would serve in many roles in House Gravesend. That is absolutely correct. Laura Vallis did not lead you astray in that regard. As of right now, though, I know that it would take some time for the Druidic Council to formulate a decision as to whether or not you would serve well or not. And you would need to meet with them prior. Are you staying in the city?
It's not certain.
Well, if you have any desire to seek shelter, you may reside within these halls. If not, please make sure that once you've come to your location, inform whoever your householder would be that you are staying there. That way House Gravesend can find you immediately if they need to bring you before the council.
Indeed.
Amalia
Okay.
Tidewater, thank you. Magpie, you said you were going to meet with your mercenary compatriots. Now they spend most of their time in the Steel District as well, so you're not too unfamiliar with the Steel District. You've probably heard of the Tavern Crystallis before, but you're meeting up with them in a guild hall, or a mercenary company hall. Company hall would be probably the word I wanted. It's going to be marked here in a second. I'm just trying to find one other thing while doing that. I'm still trying to find that last name. I am diligent. I'm gonna get it. It's gonna be great. Do you have any question while I'm doing that? Do you have any questions, Jizo, regarding anything besides? Okay, great. Then Okay, you go to the company house. You can see a couple of your compatriots are inside, kind of just idly sitting about. Looks like they might have just done some sparring practice in the lower portion of this establishment. You can see that the leader of the group kind of looks up to you as you approach, stands up, looks over to you. I apologize, Belroth. Still no work as of yet.
Alright.
The cat, you heard the cat. He is in juicy mode, sorry. You would know that this man is Arcados, who is the regional leader of this, Grey Order.
Okay. Any word about disturbance in the city?
About disturbances?
Any-
No.
Anything that caught your attention?
There was a nearby occurrence at the Tavern Crystallis. A group of servants of the goddess Aloane were dispatched by Council 10 to deal with death cultists that were presumed to be located there. From what I understand, there were some skirmishing on the streets, but nothing too eventful beyond. There were no rumors of their success in finding such a cult, but if it is true and there is a death cult that resides somewhere in the bowels of the city, if a member of the Grey Order were to find it, it would be notable for our company.
Okay. Trying to making a character that doesn't talk is kind of talk a whole lot is a little.
He also kind of says, there were also reports of a stranger who had entered the city not too long ago by its western gates. A creature that many folks were confused by. It appeared to be a bipedal bear who had entered into the city, wandering with entourage. I know not exactly where he went to specifically, but if our reports are correct, he could be a member of House Razorclaws, a formidable bear folk tribe from the west, near the lands of Tom. You can make a history check on Trained if you'd like. You think you've heard something about, not much, really, regarding bear folk? There definitely aren't a lot of them. They're not common. They're a very rare breed, to be sure. They're kind of in the same vein as yak folk, and there are a lot of animal-like folk that do wander about the city of Noct that you'd be familiar with. Tabaxi, Leonin, Kenku, all of those species exist. But bear folk are not common.
Okay. If one were to be looking for a death cult, where would you suggest starting?
If looking for a death cult is what you'd like to do, I do know there is currently a bounty out for members of the death cult. I believe it's 100 gold a head, and the head is what's required. Apparently there's some way for them to identify the culprits based on their facial features. But none of our individuals have taken up on it. A lot of them are currently waiting for something a bit more substantial. There are reports that there was a very massive attack to the southwest of here, at Sifford's Pass. They say a demon led an army of skeletons and other demons against the wall. It appears that they were in league with, well, heavens to know,
A
understanding, a wizard of sorts, yes. And the town wasn't wiped out entirely. A few heroes rose up to fight them back. But if those reports are true, the information could be beneficial. And if they are seeking to hire any mercenaries or sellswords to help with the effort, and House Sereda wants to stop the problem before it's really a problem, they'll probably come to other mercenary companies to hire them. So most of our folks are waiting for that.
Out of character. The western side of the city. It's a very large city. So if you wanted to go, like, kind of poke around and see if anyone closer to that area had more information about that.
About the bear?
No. I don't think it really gives a shit about the bear.
Oh, you're talking more about the past. Let me give you some more context.
The demons and the wizards.
Yeah, that would have been it's Sifred's Pass. So you can see Knock here. Let me get this potion of healing off of the screen. You can see Knock here, right?
Okay.
And if you kind of ask where Sifred's Pass, someone would tell you. Sifred's Pass is actually located near Fort Carpenter. Now, the reason why Sifred's Pass is important is Sifred's Pass is basically a very narrow position that is low ground that allows access for people to the land of Ta, which is the foresty land to the west of the Dragonwater Spine.
Okay.
Or Water Dragon Spine, I said it wrong.
Okay.
And this is it's a very small town there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fort Carpenter's actually up in the mountains a bit, so that's why it's not undefended in that position.
Okay. Just the whole demon thing and wizard thing kind of...
Yeah, it will definitely be marked as a notification after the session. Do not worry about that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is Dravenport. Thank you. The last name of Laura Varys was Dravenport. Thank you. You were the only person I thought would get that connection. I think you understand what just happened. It's magical. I love it. Moving on.
Okay.
What's you're muted. What did you say?
Sorry, I checked one of the old streams for it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You're
yes.
welcome.
I knew his name was on a note somewhere, but I was looking for it in the wrong places. But
Don't
anyway,
worry, I have it written down now.
perfect. And
Okay.
you want even more fun, Elizabeth?
Yeah.
The Sifred's Pass occurrence that I'm mentioning right now was my birthday party D&D game.
Amazing!
3 connections. This is perfection.
Oh, this is honestly why I
D&D
like being in
Inception.
2 different games, though, because I'm like,
No. She doesn't know.
and that's also why I watched the Sunday game.
Perfection. So Sifred's Pass. Sorry, Magpie, you had
It's all
questions.
connected.
Sorry, we were nerding out. Go
No,
ahead.
it's fine. Okay, so he would definitely try and keep his ears open for anyone talking about that attack.
Okay.
Um,
If you want, you can go ahead and make me a persuasion roll. Now, this is a part of the gather information kind of special action for the persuasion skill. Are you trained in persuasion?
I am.
Perfect. So then, yeah, go ahead and make that check.
I just did.
What'd you get?
13.
All right. So you go around spending some time with the other mercenaries in the company, and also around the West Gate, kind of learning a bit more. And you also kind of spend some time with members of House Sereda for the remainder of the day, kind of gathering some information regarding, the Sifred's Pass attack. And here's what you glean. The Regent Commander of House Sereda was retired a few weeks before this attack, and a lieutenant had been placed in charge, a orc individual whose name is escaping everyone you're talking to. They were going about their normal business when a massive legion of uh, basically warriors descended upon them, a necromancer and a demon, feminine demon with massive blades about her back instead of wings, and a huge sword, curved blade of kind of demonic structure. She was able to craft portals out of thin air, allowing her to move the troops to positions in very quick fashion, and also to move larger things that were present as well. Among them, a massive beetle demon that they saw that was being ridden by some sort of spider demon. It was just a bunch of weird demon shit, according to the reports that you're getting.
God.
They pushed back the army and were able to defend the town of Sifford's Pass. And then they found that there was an underground or subterranean lair beneath. Now, what you do here is that it appears that the objective of the demon army was to secure Sifford's sword. Sifford was an old hero of House Sereda who wielded a black-bladed sword against the forces of Ta, and apparently the demons were able to abscond with that weapon and remove it from the town, which is why it was easy for them to press the demons back.
People gotta keep better track of their relics, man.
For sure.
God.
If I had a relic,
Yeah.
I'd know right where it is at all the times.
Lovely. Okay.
Any other questions that you want to throw out? Or are you good? I'm going to move it over to Sen if not.
I think he's pretty good. He's like mildly interested
Okay.
in murdering some death cult people, but
Yeah. And since this is the first time you've played in like a long-term game of mine, I'll explain. So when we get done with this game, it's going to be my effort, either today or tomorrow, to post a bunch of notifications in the notifications channel. And these will basically serve as reminders as to what quests you're on or leads you've acquired. And so far, we've got a couple here that I'll be posting up there.
okay. I think that's good. Just the
What are you doing?
demon thingies and
What are you doing for your first day, Sen?
So for the first day, Sen's going back home to see Daddy.
Okay.
Um,
This is basically a non-action.
yeah, just helping out in him with things in the shop, and then probably going out at some point to.
He will say something kind of awkward to you that kind of catches you off guard. He says, "You've got the smell of the sea about you."
Went diving for pearls.
new face cream.
You've known your father long enough to know that he knows
Yeah.
that you're not telling the whole truth. But he doesn't push the effort. He takes the coin happily enough, and you move on about your day.
Yeah.
What else do you want to do?
Probably also going out to purchase gems
Okay.
for or doing like general
Just general trading and stuff?
general trade through the Jewelers Guild.
Okay. You have jeweler's tools as a tool option, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If you're just
I
doing,
don't have them on this sheet. I have them on the other.
put them on there. I know you have
Okay.
them. And I think your background forces you to have them, so
Yeah.
not a
I
problem.
don't. Yeah. I forgot to put them on.
It's
there.
okay. But yeah, once you've got them on there, go ahead and make a jeweler's tools roll with dexterity.
Okay. It's under the. Do I drag the proficiencies over?
Yeah, pull a proficiency over, drop it on your sheet, and then it'll put it in the bottom left there. When you click it, it'll bring up a query that says what skill or what ability do you want to use, and you'll choose
Okay.
Dex for this specific case.
Yep.
And what'd you get?
I got an 11.
You kind of pop in to do some work with a couple of the folks you know in the guild, and they take your work, generally enough, but you're not doing a lot of good in their estimation. But they pay you for a full day's worth of work, and they give you 30 gold.
Not the worst, but also why we do stuff on the side.
Yep. Well, you would know that that's more than fair for what you kind of were
Right.
able to do today.
Probably still upset from what Dad said,
Yeah.
because he smells the trouble on them.
Yeah. Perfectly fair. And yeah, your day spent kind of going through the rigmarole, and that sounds like a good first day. We've
Yep.
got about 20 minutes left of the session, so we'll go ahead and ask what's going on the second day. Or if you, again, have anything that you want to do to press while you are thinking about that, I'm going to go ahead and just type up a couple of notifications to get that going now, so you have those to look at as well.
Hmm. Probably a little bit of the same second day, but also seeing if there's anything else. Just being generally like not a little like miffed with what happened, and then also just thinking about how cool those hands were.
Mad, the dagger. Well, do you want to try and like connect with the others and see if you can't like investigate that tavern maybe in the evening, or?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll hold off on typing notifications.
Balrog would go with if he's available.
Okay. Yeah, you're able to connect with one another. I would say another thing that you might want to purchase while in town, and it's not something I mentioned very clearly, and I apologize for that. I think I did mention it to the Saga game, but there is an item that you can purchase if you have the coin for it. You can also put in a debt request for one, but it's called a calling stone. Basically, what it does is it allows you to connect with another person with their stone and send messages to one another. Very much like a cell phone, but also very much like a sending stone that's not
Yeah.
locked onto another sending stone.
Okay. And how much are those?
300 gold pieces. And if you want to, you can just say, I owe this person 300 gold pieces. And the second you get a 300 gold piece amount and are in the city, it's paid off. Or we can do the debt collector route of it if you want. But it's a big city. It's a big world. And a lot of the progressive, motions and technology, thanks to the Shattered Coast goblins, have allowed for some cool shit.
I mean, we have like 1,500 gold each.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, we got some.
I'd
So
drop some on that.
yeah, so
Yeah.
I'll buy one for myself, and I'll buy one for Jai.
Okay.
Actually,
And you can only calling stone a person that you connect with. So if you're like, oh, I want to reach out to someone I don't know, it's impossible. Because you have to basically willingly connect your stones. So you connect your stones together.
Alright.
And
I got
Jai-
one too.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, same.
And so that would allow for, easy communication. And from what it sounded like, Sen, you're going to do more work in the guild hall today, but in the evening time, you're willing to go and check out the tavern, the
Yeah.
Crystallis. Okay.
Yeah.
And, Gijo, what about Namalia? What are you doing for day 2?
Malia. Okay. I think I would like Namalia to head back to the Gravesend.
Mhm.
Wait, Gravesend? Yeah. They're one of the factions, right?
Right.
Yes.
They're one of the
Okay.
10 council houses, correct?
So I think I'd want her to go back there, see if they're. I think it seems like we're gonna be hanging around. Did we hook up before this? No, we haven't yet. We're
I
gonna
would
look
assume
up
that you would have bought the calling stones when you first
together.
arrived. Bip, 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 connected, and then been like, okay, let's go do our own stuff.
Okay, so I guess like I would kind of check out to see if we're gonna be hanging out and Knock for a while, and it sounds like we are, right?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. So she'd head to Gravesend and check in with the conservators and say, yeah, I'm gonna be here for a while. So I may be available for whatever's going on.
That same Vidalcan conservator is the one who kind of speaks to you and says, we, of course, are very interested, but as I stated, the Council of Druids are the ones who need to approve you as a member of the House, and unfortunately their time is currently an issue. They've been having problems of a sort with another of the houses in the city.
Any kind of problems that I could help with?
I cannot answer that question directly,
Okay.
unfortunately, but what I can do is, if you'll wait here for a moment, I will see if I can't have you meet with someone who might be able to answer your question. One moment. The Vidalcan kind of steps away, kind of moves away. This is the first time you've actually seen him move away from his booth, and what you realize is, as he's doing so, that he has a second set of limbs, so he has 4 arms, and he kind of moves
I have 4 arms too.
a stride from you.
I'll just.
What? Oh, 4 arms. Your dad punnery has grown too fucking strong. I need you to
Oh
stop.
my god.
Powerful.
It's too strong.
Oh no.
I'm not even a dad.
What? I'm not even.
No, you are. You are now.
You are.
Now you are.
Your daddy is fuck.
No.
Oh,
Oh no.
shit, I gotta go redo my wardrobe. I don't have any crew socks and sandals. I don't,
Yeah, we're both at the same
like,
time.
I don't even have any khakis.
Unacceptable.
Or polo.
Unacceptable.
Tucked in polo.
When the Vidalcan returns, you would note that the Vidalcan is with another individual. The individual in question appears to be a very strange-looking entity. They are human, you think. But they are covered with tattoos that basically run the entirety of their body. You can see what appear to be kind of like branch-like growths coming out of the top of their head. And their hair appears to have basically been kind of replaced with ivies and kind of like growths of a natural nature. As you kind of inspect this individual, you would note that the tattoos aren't ink tattoos. They're not of a kind of natural like placement. They appear to have been things that have kind of pattern formed in the skin in a natural or magical fashion. And most of it is kind of swirls of like a windish nature on the extremities. And then as it kind of goes in, these patterns become more like rigid and more solid. Like it's solid and then flowy. And they kind of step forward to you and say, you are the one inquiring about the extracurricular activities?
Yeah, it sounds like the council needs a little bit of support. No?
I would say that is accurate, but more precisely, my house would need more support. I am a member of House Calyx. House Gravesend is responsible for most of the matters that deal with the buildings and structures therein, but we are truly the stewards of the natural and the wild that work within the city and externally. Many take this for granted, but know this. Most of the structures in the city of Knock are not built of stone, but instead mycelium. We have worked painfully to make sure the gardens of House Gravesend are protected. We've also made sure to understand the connection between those who seek a normal life, as is associated with what is considered normal to most mortals of the realm, but also to make sure that that does not break the balance. A lot of what we try to do here deals with coaxing the natures of others out of them. Gestures to the Vidalcan. As you can see, my associate here has gained the gift of Calyx. Gesturing to the arms. Some beings are gifted with potential. The purpose of my forwardness here and my explanatory nature regarding these matters is simple. You sound like you are not from the city, not entangled in any way to any of the other houses, and you are probably keen to understand the sins that are being had on behalf of House Harrigan. Their obsessive nature with progress is unnerving to us who wish to create a blossoming and flourishing nature to the city, rather than an explosive one. They have the control of the waterways, the sewers, the heating systems, all the other matters within the city that many see as very basic commodities, or even requirements to living. Soft, depressingly obsessed with these things. But unfortunately, we also rely upon their waterways. And as of late, our conflicts with their methods have led to them being tight-fisted with the resources. We understand that biting the hand that feeds obviously will bring forward repercussions, but our problem is one specific individual in House Harrigan. A Goblot who goes by the name of Kiergan. Kiergan Bricknose.
Can you type it out?
Yeah, I sure can. And that is KERGANBRICKNOSE. Kiergan
No.
Bricknose. And he, this individual said that they are Goblod, and you can make a nature check if you'd like. It's a type of goblin. Goblots are goblins that reside up in the mountains. They are very much goblinoids, but they have a very specific habit or capability, depending on how you want to look at it, of being able to eat rocks for sustenance.
Yum.
I think that's called pica.
I have pica. I know what pica is.
Oh no.
It's fine, whatever. I enjoy my own hair. It's delicious.
I used to do that too, not gonna lie.
Whatever.
Chomp chomp.
It's also
I
why
do
I
that when I'm
can't,
anxious.
I can't get over biting my nails either, so... And they say that's a sign of a sociopath. I would hope that most people don't think I am one, but...
I think that's just called being neurotypical.
Or pica is
Or
also...
pica, which is also a...
I love the taste of my
Symptom
nails.
of-
It's not anything more deep than that. They're fucking delicious. Anyways, this has been probably the grossest thing I've ever said on a stream. And
That's saying
my
something.
I've killed a lot of people. But
Don't
yeah.
worry, they're all imaginary.
They're all imaginary people.
But you know what's not imaginary?
Little
Your nails.
fingernails.
My nails. Correct. But yeah. That said, what was I saying? Godblots, Eat Rocks, Brick Nose. We would like to have words with him, but unfortunately we've been unable to get a message directly to him. He is the one we've been having issues with. We don't mean for the conversation to be tilted or skewed. We have a very simple message for this individual, and that is that for balance to be maintained, sacrifices must be made. He would understand this message. Unfortunately, we cannot get someone to him, and house edicts demand that we maintain the direct methods of communication that we've all agreed upon in the center of the city. But if you were able to get that message to him, both House Gravesend and House Calyx would be grateful. So grateful, in fact, that I might be willing to see if I can unlock your potential.
Yeah. Let me see what I can do.
Absolutely. And we hope to hear back on what you have to say. As a member of the Council of Druids, this will definitely sway my decision if it is true that you are seeking to gain access to House Gravesend. But I would ask, please consider, House Calyx is also a great option. Perhaps once you have more information on the two houses, you might decide one way or the other.
Sure. Before we part ways, I do want to share that I'm looking for my own purposes of finding justice and preserving balance. I'm looking for followers of a certain old one in the city. I don't want to hear now if you've got that information or not. I'll be back. I know that the Deep One may or may not have followers in the city.
When you say the Deep One, do you mean the Lady of the Deep?
The Lady of the Deep, indeed.
Oh, well, hold on, sorry. So she would get out 3 more names. Sorry. So the Lady of the Deep, he who resides in the depths. Do you mean the crowned prince of the underneath, or do you mean eyes that watch from below? And I'll write those out too.
Do I know what I'm looking for? I think I do know. The
Lady of the Deep is absolutely the one you see.
Yeah.
But those other ones sound real sus too.
They really
Right?
do.
God,
They working
watch.
together? Like, maybe we need to take them down.
Like if I
This
was
is thruple.
if I was playing a warlock, like the last one is like totally up my alley. I love that.
He who watches, or that which watches from beneath.
Yeah. Ooh.
A voyeur.
Spooky.
I'll tell you a
Okay.
secret, and this is absolutely a spoiler, but I'm going to tell you it. I currently have a player who is a warlock of that who watches from beneath. Anyways,
Shit.
that witch. It should be that witch, not that who. It's a mistake
Okay.
on my part.
At this time, I'm very curious about the Lady of the Deep.
If I understand correctly, most of her followers reside in Duskrot.
Dust Rot?
Dusk Rot. Rot of Dusk.
Where
It's
is
a
that?
city on the island in the center of the Broken Blade Bay. It's, according to understanding, a very bad place.
Ah, I see. I see now.
I believe the handout specifically said, hold on, let me see if I can find the exact wording of the shithole. Duskrot. It's listed as Gloomrot in the. That's my fault. Off the coast is the Isle of. Oh, sorry, the Isle is Gloomrot, where the city of the same name sits. That's where I messed up. Yeah, it's basically a city in shadow.
Mm.
Why did I type it as Gloomrot in there? I'm a dum-dum. Duskrot.
Well, that may be the case. You never know what influences a deep one may have, particularly in a coastal
We are
region such as this.
we are absolutely familiar with the problems that can be presented by a great old one, especially if they are allowed access by mortal hands to the mortal realms. We absolutely do not desire it, so we will traffic any information that you desire. In fact, looks to the Vidalcan. The Vidalcan. I will, of course, begin researching. I will go and find as much information I can regarding the lady for the next time that you arrive here. And he kind of turns and heads away.
Greatly appreciated.
The tattooed individual says, when you return to this place, you can ask for me specifically. I am Fodla. And they gesture a hand out to you. If you see that Nuada, gesturing towards the Vidalcan that left, is present, please feel free to ask him what he may be able to assist you with. We have a number of other individuals present who might be able to assist you. I believe Laura Varis was the one that you spoke with initially.
Hmm.
She is not actually dedicated to the house, but she is closely affiliated. I believe that she resides outside of the city and does a lot of cultivating or assistance in cultivation for the farmers therein. She may be of service as well.
All right. Good to know. Thank you.
She leaves you by stating blessings of growth to you, which isn't one you've heard, but it sounds nice enough. Okay. I just realized we're timed out. Belroth, during the second day, what are you doing before tavern time? Just kind of quickly, if you have an idea. Sorry, I really got into that as usual.
No, you're good.
That's great.
Honestly, he's probably just going and looking at gear and seeing if there's anything he can do to upgrade before he kind of meets up with Sen.
Any shopping you want to do, that's perfectly alright. I will let you know that the marketplace has most magic items, and how I relate that is they cost you 500 gold pieces apiece for an uncommon magic item, and 100 gold pieces for a common one. But you nominate what you want, and then you roll a D100, and if you roll under I believe it's, if you roll under a 25, the item's not there. So we can deal with that in the aftermath. And then Sen, I'm assuming jeweler's time. Roll a jeweler's tools plus dex.
14.
Okay, you make about
Better.
30 more gold for the day. They basically tell you came in at the right time. It's the beginning of the week, so they had a lot of stuff that they needed to be working on. You know that the beginning of the week is typically pretty high, and then the end of the week is like boring.
Yeah.
So you probably won't be able to make that much more money moving on. And when I say a week, I mean 6 day. Okay. what we're going to do is I'm going to offsides. I'm going to message Jai and Terry's players, ask what they're doing in that time frame, so that they can also have downtime activities. Then you're going to, call Stone everyone and kind of meet up at the Crystallis Tavern, and that's where we'll pick up with next session. Sound good? All right. Thanks for
Sounds
watching.
great.
Those that did, I'm going to go ahead and kill the stream, and we will pick up then.